There's no way around it. Most beginner fixed gears are built to rip off beginners. They tend to be built out of heavy, unreliable parts that aren't fun to ride and cost more to maintain than they're worth. Most complete fixed gear bikes are built to be bought, not ridden. But there are a few dope beginner fixed gear bikes that are fun, reliable, and actually worth your money that'll give you a bike that will serve you well for years to come. Here are the best complete fixed gear bikes for every budget. And speaking of the best complete fixed gear bike, this video is sponsored by Wabi Cycles. To learn more how you can get the most fun out of your bike in 180 seconds or less, be sure to check out me and Wabi's video series 3 Minute Thursday by clicking the card above. And check out Wabi Cycles, linked in the description. They do make some pretty dope complete bikes. And full disclosure, Wabi does sponsor the channel, as you probably already know at this point, and I'm going to recommend them because they're pretty good, and I'll show you why. And I am not affiliated with any of the other companies on this list. I just genuinely think that they offer really good bikes for the money, and that you should probably go buy them if you're in the market. So even though this video is sponsored, I encourage you to do your own research, and hopefully you'll still get some useful information out of it, and you'll get on a bike nice and lickety split. So how do you spot good beginner fixed gear bikes that are actually worth your money? Well, a lot of great beginner fixed gear bikes tend to be made out of double-butted 4130 chromoly steel or double-butted 6061 aluminum. They usually have seal bearing components that are maintenance free and really smooth to ride, so you just use it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to take it to a shop and pay a mechanic to service it. Sorry shops, I love you guys, but I don't want to do that every 6 months. And they tend to come in more understated color combinations with black or silver components. The sweet spot for off-the-shelf beginner fixed gear bike is going to be around $400 to $600 US, and with the recent prices, I mean, there's more people that want to buy bikes than there are bikes, so prices have gone up because of supply chain issues. You're probably going to be spending more like $500 to $600, maybe even a little bit more. That's just the way it is right now. There's no way around that. Bikes that are cheaper than $400 are probably going to have some reliability issues and give you subpar components for the price. They're going to require more maintenance and more cost in your time and money in the long run than they're worth. At the end of the day, they're not going to be as fun to use, and they're not going to be as fun to own. In the bike world, you get what you pay for, and unfortunately, a lot of times you get significantly less. So that's why you're watching this video, so you know how to not waste your money and get something really good. And do keep in mind that prices are subject to change from the time of recording this video. The prices are fluctuating pretty rapidly at the moment, and fluctuating in the wrong direction for consumers. Keep in mind, because it is so hard to get a bike, if you find a bike on this list that is within your budget, just get it even if it isn't your top pick. If it fits, it's still a good bike on this list. It might not be the best bike on this list, but having a great bike is better than having no bike, or waiting around for the perfect bike that may never come. In the $400 to $600 price range, you'll get a double-butted 4130 chromoly frame set. These bikes are made of steel, so they'll be lively and compliant to ride. Keep in mind that in this price range, even if you get an aluminum bike with a carbon fork that should technically be lighter because they're made out of more exotic materials, because the quality of those materials compared to the quality of steel, they're going to weigh about the same. So don't choose one over the other because you think you'll be getting weight savings. You're not in this price range. If you have never ridden a quality bike before, these fixed gears in this price range will straight up feel like a rocket ship. It's a lot of fun. Like, I went from just like a cruddy mountain bike that was 3 sizes too small for me, where all the gears crunched, to a super basic fixed gear, a basic but reliable fixed gear, and that was the biggest jump between bikes in terms of quality that I've ever experienced. The components will be generic but reliable OEM components, and you may be able to get sealed bearing hubs. Again, that makes them maintenance free and run smoother. Fixed gear bikes in this price range will weigh around 20 to 21 pounds. That is for like an average size bike, say like a 54. It'll weigh more if it's a bigger size, it'll weigh less if it's a smaller size. That will be way breezier to ride than the high tensile steel bikes that plague this price range and try to rip you off that normally weigh around 25 pounds. And weight is just a good rule of thumb. It's not the end-all be-all thing to look to, but it is a good indicator of quality. Top 3 Fixie bikes under 600 bucks. Number 3, the State 4130 Core line at $460 US. This ticks a lot of boxes to be a fun and reliable fixed gear. But State Bike Co. is infamous for quality control issues, and I recommend that you only buy a State from a local bike shop so that they can deal with all the quality control issues, a good bike shop that will actually do that for you, and to just completely avoid buying one online, because it will be a big headache if your bike does come with some issues and you have to jump through a bunch of hoops and customer service representatives and all that globbity-gook just to get a bike that should have come out of the box in the first place. State is so bad with their quality control that the bike that they sent me, a reviewer, for the express purpose of being on YouTube for tens of thousands of people to see, if not hundreds of thousands of people to see, both the bikes that they sent me were defective. And the 4130 that they sent me had like a rear triangle that was misaligned, and like that's automatically a lemon. Like, things need to fit on the bike for it to work. So buy it from a bike shop. Trust me, you'll thank me later. And once you get a 4130 core line that is in good shape and all squared out, it is a fun and reliable bike to ride. The only criticism that I have is that it comes with a unicrown fork instead of a lugged fork, and this doesn't change it functionally. It's just that some other bikes in this price range come with a lugged fork, which adds a little touch of craftsmanship and makes you feel like you're getting a really great bike for your money. Not so on the State. It's a fair bike for the money. But on the upside, the 4130 core line does consistently clear 28C tires, and tire clearance is a huge deal. Swapping out your tires can completely change the way that your bike rides, so having more options in that department is a huge plus. And the same thing can't be said for some of the other competitors in this price range. Number 2, the Fuji Feather at an MSRP of 720 Freedom Eagles, but the Fuji Feather does consistently go on sale, and you can easily find them on the used markets. Fuji Feathers tend to be too expensive at full fat MSRP, but because they come out with a new model every year, which just consists of a new paint job, the previous year's models usually go on sale at bike shops. And because they make so many of them and sell so many of them, you can find them pretty easily on the used market if you're in a larger metropolitan area. So if you can get a Fuji Feather between like $400 to $500 US, just buy it if it fits you, and you'll be good to go. And number 1, everybody knows it, you know it, say it with me, the Kilo TT. Mercier Kilo TT from Bikes Direct, and yes, this is their website, and yes, it looks like it's going to give you a virus, and yes, they actually do send out the bikes regardless of how sketchy it looks. The Kilo TT has reigned supreme as the go-to beginner fixed gear bike for the past 12 years with 2 big caveats. The first caveat, it's only available in the United States. If you try to get it when you're outside the United States, shipping is going to be super expensive. Don't you do it. Don't you fall over, Pete. I know it's a big gust of wind. Don't recommend importing one. If you can get one domestically, great. For the second big caveat, they recently increased the price by 25%, $100 bucks, 100 Washingtons, from $400 to $500 US. And that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty good chunk of change. Even with all these caveats, I can still wholeheartedly recommend the Kilo TT as a great beginner fixed gear bike because it is that good, even at $500. Just keep in mind, this is a huge problem with Kilo TTs, and it will be a problem until the end of time. Kilo TTs have wildly inconsistent tire clearances. And again, having more options for tires is generally better. Some Kilo TTs can fit 32C tires comfortably, some can barely fit a 23C tire. It is the weirdest thing. It's like, are they getting these bikes out of an oven and some of them shrink or something? It's insane. So just keep in mind that if you do eventually want to get bigger tires and put them on your Kilo TT, they may not fit, and you may be better off going with a Fuji Feather or a State 4130 core line. The Kilo TT unfortunately comes with loose ball bearing hubs, but on the bright side, if you do actually like riding fixed, you're probably going to want to upgrade your wheel set anyway within the next 6 months, which is like when you would have to pack them. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal. And with all that said, the Kilo TT is so good, I used to ride one, and I liked it. So you're fortunate. and your wages have inflated with the currency, and you can spend between $600 to $800 US. So what are you getting for that price? Fixed gears at this price range offer nicer OEM and some brand name components that will be stiffer and smoother to ride while keeping the weight slightly lower than entry-level fixed gears. As a rule of thumb, the more you spend on a complete fixed gear, assuming that their price to quality ratio is the same, the lighter and faster that bike will be to ride. Here you have the options for 6061 aluminum fixed gears with carbon forks that offer a stiffer ride quality compared to steel bikes that some people prefer, or you can get the Kilo TT Pro at $600 US. So the Kilo TT Pro is exactly the same as the regular Kilo TT, except it has nicer components. It comes with a Sugino crankset, as opposed to some random stock OEM crankset from who knows where. Sugino is one of the oldest bike component manufacturers in the world, and everything they make is really high quality. Their crankset will roll a little bit smoother, be a little bit stiffer, and look a hell of a lot nicer than a stock crankset. The Kilo TT Pro also comes with a sealed bearing wheel set, so you probably won't care to upgrade it unless you're just doing it for vanity reasons. The difference is only $100 between the Kilo TT and the Pro, but that $100 goes a really long way. If you could stretch your budget out a little bit, you'll be getting way more than $100 worth of value by going to the Pro instead of the regular Kilo TT. The State Black Label version 2 at $699. This is my favorite complete aluminum fixed gear. That is, once you get past State's quality control issues. Yes, I also had quality control issues with this one. Can you believe it? 2 out of 2 bikes. That's 100% quality control issues with State that I've experienced. Amazing. Black Label is constructed out of 6061 series aluminum and paired with a full carbon fork. It strikes a nice balance of giving you a fast-feeling bike that is also comfortable. It comes equipped with sealed bearing, maintenance-free components that are smooth to ride, that you don't have to worry about. You just ride it until you get hit by a car. And the cranks are the track standard 144 BCD, which gives you more options to upgrade your chainring down the line if you want to be blingin'. It also looks sick. Good bike. And say maybe this isn't your first fixed gear and you're willing to spend a bit more on a complete bike. Say you got $900 or more to spend. What kind of bike do you get? Well, this price range is firmly for the fixed gear enthusiasts. Spending $900 or more on a complete bike usually gives you a better bang for your buck than if you were to take that same budget and build a bike of your own. These bikes need little to no upgrades out of the box. Just about every single component on these bikes are reliable, fun to ride, and look excellent. If you already know that you like riding fixed gear, getting one of these completes in the $900 up price range is the way to go if you don't want to spend a fortune on building up your own bike. They're just so good that they leave little rooms for superfluous upgrades unless you just want Fixie points out of the box. They tick all the boxes for great bikes, and they leave little room for desire even for the biggest of fixed gear snobs. As with any product, whether it's cameras or cars or smartphones or whatever, as you go up in price you get more options. That's what you're paying for. How specific do you want your thing to suit your needs? Complete fixed gears in the 900. Don't fall, Pete. That's like a 25-mile-an-hour gust. I know you want to do it. Don't fall, Pete. Complete fixed gears in the $900 and up price range will give you more choices for higher end materials like triple-butted 7005 series aluminum and full carbon forks, or Reynolds 725 steel for even lighter bikes with ride qualities that are more tailored to your specific needs. Lightweight stiff aluminum for sprinting, sprightly lightweight steel for long distance comfort. The choice is yours. You also have more choice for aggressive versus relaxed geometries, and the option to customize your bike's components to fine-tune your bike fit and make it fit like a tailor-made suit right out of the box. You can choose sizes and types for your handlebars, your chainring and cog and pedals to make sure that your bike is as perfect as possible with as little effort shopping around as possible. These bikes will comfortably be under 20 pounds, and most will be in the range of 17 to 19 pounds. And $920 plus shipping from the UK, as far as I know. Dolan does not ship complete bikes from an international distributor. You can get the Dolan Precursor. So, the Dolan Precursor, it's the Honda Civic of track bikes. It's fast, it's light, it's affordable, and you see them everywhere because they're so good. They are the gold standard when it comes to track bikes. The Dolan Precursor is such a good track bike that it is the default rental track bike for velodromes all around the world. If you want true track geometry for racing around the velodrome in a stiff and lightweight package that won't break the bank, while giving you mad respect even amongst the most discerning in the fixed gear crowd, the Precursor is it. Keep in mind though, since complete Precursors do ship from the UK, it probably won't be worth it unless you're in Europe. Instead, it would probably be a better option to buy a Precursor frame set and build it up with your own components. You can check out Dolan's shipping calculator linked in the description. And at $995 US Freedom Eagles, the favorite complete bike that I've ever ridden. One of the favorite bikes, period, I've ever ridden. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the one, the only, the cult classic, or maybe the cult master, the Wabi Classic. They sponsor the channel, okay? Do your research on them before you click a link in the description and click add to cart and put in your credit card information, okay? But, as God is my witness, the Wabi Classic is the most fun complete bike that I've ever ridden. Period. And when we take into the price into consideration, it's not even close. It's sprightly and lively while still feeling robust. All the components on it are carefully handpicked to give you the best bang for your buck, the lightest bike, and the most beautiful bike that you can get for the money. It looks killer without looking desperate for attention. There's just a certain swagger to something that is so classic as a Wabi Classic. It's like, yeah, I'm a good bike. What of it? In the fixed gear world, we often say that fixed gear riding is the gateway drug into cycling. Well, the Wabi Classic is the crack cocaine of cycling, and I mean that in the best way possible. This bike is so good that you will want to ride it every time, so much that it will ruin your life. It ruined my life. Jeez, man, like, I had my ankle sprained, like, I haven't been able to ride my Wabi in a month. It's like I'm dying here, man. Come on, just hook it up. Biking and making bike content, it's my full-time career. And most bike companies that I want a bike from, if I just ask them, hey, send me a bike to like ride and review and I'll talk about it. Like I can ride pretty much any bike that my heart desires as long as it's not made out of solid gold. And I own only one bike because it is so good. I don't have to own any other bike. If one bike is just the best that I've ever ridden, like, there's no point in owning other bikes, because I just want to ride that bike. And the one bike that I own, it's a Wabi. I have achieved bike nirvana, and I am completely happy with one bike and only riding one bike. But most importantly, just get a fixed gear. It's easy to get lost in the sauce and get lost in the minutia of comparing each little tiny detail between each complete bike and what's best for your money. What do I like the look of the best? What gets the most? It doesn't matter. Just get a bike and ride it. That's what's most important, especially now, where bikes are hard to come by. If you find one in your size and it's on this list, you know you're going to be happy with it. At the end of the day, all this time that you're spending researching on getting your first bike, it only matters if you actually get a bike and ride it. So, remember, to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous. A Fixie famous shoutouts to Thane, BergBrandon, BlackDavid, KGio, DezeraJulian, CoronaRyan, WittScott, PalangiZane, KolnikJacob for helping to make these fixed gear videos possible through the support on Patreon. I'm gonna go look at my bike now because I can't ride it because my ankle is still sprained.